2022 community projects. You can continue.
Thank you very much, Chair. Appendix number 3, 2022.
Your immunity is restored.
Thank you. 2022 community projects, cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to submit that the 3 projects, the construction of a staff house and a double VIP toilet at Namaenya Health Post 1x3 classroom block at Namu and Namakoki Primary School, funded under 2022 CDF, were still ongoing at the time of audit due to poor performance of contractors and delayed commission of additional fundings for a staff house at Namaenya Health Post. Action taken. Management continued to engage the contractors and works for staff house and double VIP at Namaenya Health Post and 1x3 classroom block, Namakoki Primary School, have since been completed, while works for Namu have been rescoped pending CDF additional funding. See Appendix 2, 3, and 13. Remedial measures, Chair. Management will endeavor to enhance contract and project management. Appendix 4, community projects, 2023 community projects, cause of query. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to submit that at the time of audit, a total of 9 out of 11 approved projects were still ongoing. Further, 2 of the approved projects, vis-a-vis procurement of police vehicle and procurement of desks, were completed. Action taken. Management has implemented 7 of the pending 11 2023 approved projects. Management has further continued to implement other ongoing projects encompassing the roadworks and procurement of desks from the ambulance varied funds. Further, follow-ups on ongoing procurement of works for construction of Chief Palace and rural electrification of selected facilities by RIA has continued. See Appendix 14 on the table below, Chair. Remedial measures. Management to endeavor to ensure keen follow-up of projects, stakeholders to ensure timely execution and completion of project undertakings. Appendix 5, analysis of performance, youth, women, and community grants. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings that there was underperformance under the grant category by 2% of the total allocation against expenditure. Management further wished to submit that the underperformance was due to 4 unresponsive beneficiary groups which did not turn up to collect their checks. Action. Management has continued to raise community awareness through CDF sensitization programs. Remedial measures. Management will continue on its trend of sensitization to the community and all CDF projects. Appendix 8, performance analysis, soft loans. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation that in 2022 there was underperformance on soft loans owing to transference of loan funds amounting to 2,926,000 to a loan revolving account held at Zanaco Bank in Senanga. Management further wished to submit that underperformance was due to delayed guidelines on financial institutions to manage loan funds. See Appendix 15. Action taken. Management paid both the 2022 and 2023 soft loans in 2023 after the ministerial issuance of circular guidance on financial institutions and loan disbursement and management procedures. Remedial measures. Management will endeavor to adhere to the financial management system and guidelines. Chair. On appendix number 9, failure to recover loans. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the observations of the auditors and wish to submit that at the time of audit, 17 loan beneficiaries were not depositing funds in the loan recovery accounts to allow the bank to recover the monthly loan funds in accordance with standing instructions. Action taken. Management, in collaboration with the financial institution, has conducted capacity building trainings on financial literacy in an effort to improve the performance of loans. Additionally, management has also engaged the loan beneficiaries on the need to ensure compliance on their loan obligations. Further follow-ups with beneficiaries have also been ongoing to ensure beneficiaries respond to the loan liquidation. On remedial measures, Chair, management will work with the financial institutions in the implementation of terms and conditions of the loan agreement as enshrined in the loan agreement, section E, part 5 and 6, subsection A, B, C, highlighting enforceable recovery of loans, forfeiture of deposit, and blacklisting of such defaulting loan beneficiaries moving forward as per CDF guidelines. Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development bursary. Cause of the query. Management wish to acknowledge the observation of the auditors that there was underperformance with regards to a number of secondary school pupils skills development students who graduated or completed school compared to the number which was enrolled in school. Management further wish to submit that the variance in numbers of admitted and graduated students was due to the school pupils in other grades, that is 9 to 11, who are still continuing with schools, and students who were whose approved programs were more than 1 year were still continuing with their school programs. Action taken, Chair. Management has continued to support pupils, students who are still continuing with their school programs to ensure successful implementation of their programs. See Appendix 16. Remedial measures. Management will continue to adhere to the implementation of CDF programs in accordance to CDF guidelines. Appendix 13, Chair. Analysis of performance of desks. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observations and wish to submit that a total of 1,600,000 was approved for procurement of desks. Management further wish to submit that a total of 1,590,000 was spent on the procurement of desks. Action taken. Management facilitated for procurement and delivery of 1,050 desks worth 1,590,000 to 36 beneficiary schools. See Appendix 17. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that funds are spent within the budgeted financial year to expedite implementation of budgeted and approved programs. I submit, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, witness. I now wish to invite points of clarifications from the honorable members, if any.
And one person.
Honorable Mulunda.
And Sean will give you.
Chairperson, I thank you. Let me take you to page 12.
Page 12.
Yes, secondary boarding and skills development sponsorship of overaged students. Chairperson, at which point did our council discover that these individuals are overaged?
SCS.
Thank you,
How
Chair.
long have you been in at SENANGA?
Now about 5 months, Chair.
5 months. Okay, kindly swap with your predecessor so that he may be able to speak to the document for the period under review. Yes, did you take the question from the honorable member?
Yes, Chair, I took down the question. Chair, I would like to call upon the Director Planning to respond to the question.
Director Planning?
Thank you, Chair. The discovery on the edge, I think he delayed. We delayed to discover this, Chair. We want to submit a plea on that one.
You delayed. Are you able to indicate when? Was it after the auditors addressed the issue?
Yes, it was after the auditors addressed the issue.
Follow up, Honorable Mlunda.
Thank you very much. Director Planning, when you, before payments, I believe you carry out due diligence. At every institution you go there and you do a head count. That is number one formula. The other formula is when the list being submitted by the CDFC committee, there should be a quorum where the institution they are going, there should be a quorum for the age, unless you don't do that at your institution. And the NRC copies are attached there. So you couldn't discover anything until the auditors came through. Is that your submission?
Chair, the omission, I think he was sitting on the computation. There was a bit of error in the omissions, and so most of the lists proceeded with the errors. Though there were NRCs, sometimes when you do diligence, you fall back on the lists that were there, and I think that is where our omission is sitting, Chair.
Did you pay for these particular students?
Chair, they were paid for.
They are paid for?
Yes, Chair.
And they have graduated?
Yes, Chair.
Any other, switch off your microphone, Director Planning. Any other point of clarification, Honorable Dr. Manza?
Thank you, Chair. We looked at page 3. Construction of 1x3 classroom block at Namakuki. This project was funded under 2022. There are quite a number also that were funded under 2022, including the construction of classroom block at Inamu Community School. The first question is why the delay in the procurement of this particular project at Namakuki, because the project was signed on 60th. It was signed on 27 March 2023. The project was under the company called Tifand Enterprise Limited at a contract sum of 570,062 kwacha. Period of construction was 4 months. Completion was supposed to be on 7th August 2023. The contract was terminated when the financial progress was at 40%, leaving a balance of 336,000 kwacha 486. The reason for terminating the contract was that the contractor had abandoned the project at roof level. The picture of the status at termination is on page 4. And then a new contractor was procured in the name of Easy C and N, which the contract for completion was 580,000 kwacha. The initial contract by Tifand Enterprise was 570,062 kwacha. So the contract for completion by Easy C and N who signed the contract on 8th October and completing the project on 25th April, which is just a few days ago. 25th April 2025, he signed the contract at 580,000 kwacha. Assuming the termination cost with the first contractor stands at 233,000 kwacha 576, there was a saving of 336 kwacha 486. But now that the second contractor signed at 580, which means management had to look for extra 243 kwacha 514 to complete this project. When I look at the scope of work, the project is involving demolition and completing other works that were not completed by Tefandi Enterprises. What justification is there to have this project cost increase by 243,000 kwacha 514 when the status as in page 4 looks just to complete the roofing and a few ironmonger issues? What made the cost to be 243,000 kwacha? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. I will explain part of the question and then I'll ask the Director Engineer to add on. Chair, as the committee has observed, this was a 2022 funded project. The costing then was a bit lower. What led us to even terminate is that the contractor proved that he was unable to complete the project because the quality of the works were not acceptable. And several times he was asked to redo the same works. That's what led us to eventually terminate. Now, by the time the reviews were done, as the doctor mentioned, it included demolishing part of the structure in order to construct properly to acceptable standard. At that time, the cost of construction share had risen. That is what led to the increase now in the cost from the initial original cost of 570 to now 580, meaning we had now to source funding, additional funding to have the project completed. Thank you, Chair. I would ask the Director Engineering to add on.
Director Engineering.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just alluding to what CS is just from explaining. We had an engagement with some of these contractors, including the contractor that we had terminated for Namakuki, that is the fund. And a copy of these discussions or engagements are on Appendix 3, where some of these discussions were brought in, where the contractor needed to demolish parts of the parts of the building that needed correction. But because he failed, we could not proceed with that contract. That's how we ended up terminating. And when it was rescoped, the next contractor needed to do the demolition to proceed with the works. And the question on the justification for the addition, I think CS has already given the explanation. Thank you.
The first question was why the delay in the initial procurement of the project.
I think this one, Chair, maybe
Allow the town clerk, the council secretary, to do the delegation. You will be overstepping your boundary. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Well, it is not that we delayed in procuring in terms of the initial contract. I think the delays was in the completion of the project, Chair, because of the challenges we had with the contractor. Now, this is the time when most of these contractors were coming on board. some of them did not have the experience. So they continued the monitoring and supervision up to the point where we noticed, okay, this contractor, I think, just do not have the capacity. Otherwise, we did not delay in procurement. We wanted to have all the contractors on board, but some of them, unfortunately, just did not have the capacity as this one. Now, that contributed to the completion because now, when we terminated, we had to re-engage another one. Up to where we are now, we are almost complete. You will note here in the added submissions where the construction has reached. It's not yet fully complete, but it's almost complete. We've circulated pictures of what is the current status. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mtelo, you are welcome. Kindly introduce yourself.
Chair, thank you so very much. Senanga, I'm your servant, real humble servant, Mutelo Mishek. Chair, thank you very much. But would they love then to change the narration here to say by 25th April 2025 it will not be work in progress but completion? CS, would you love to change that?
Chair, yes, there is a submission to that effect. My counterpart in the opening remarks submitted additional information. You will notice there is a document like this one, and then attached to it, there is also a letter from the contractor requesting an extension to 10th May. But this picture shows the current status of where the project is, and the contractor has requested for an extension.
Can you kindly amend as per the
yes,
guidance?
Sir. We would like to amend
The
the current
statement.
status to work in progress with an extension. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Follow up, Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Chair, this this school is just within Senanga CBD, and funded in 2022. It has been under construction the whole of 2023, 2024, and half of 2025. They have a request for extension of time up to 10th May, which is almost half of 2025, which is 2.5 years, depriving the people of Senanga a classroom block, a 1x3 classroom block, more especially that it is strategically located. It's within the CDB of Senanga. If we go to Appendix 3, the minutes, the meeting, the Senanga Town Council extract of the minutes of held on 27th September 2024 in the conference hall. After that, there's a termination of contract for the construction. Then there's the minutes 29th February, 29th January. The minute of the meeting held on 29th January 2024 in the office of the Council Secretary to revise dates for the construction of a 1x3 classroom block at Inamu and Namakuki primary schools. The second page, there's a submission by the director. The director for Defined Enterprise in his preamble expressed his challenges, citing the long distances from suitable sources of building and gravel materials. But now there was a reaction that the chairperson interrogated the contractor on allegations made by technical inspectors for failure to follow written instructions namely to make corrections at ring beam level before proceeding to gable level, and to wait for clearance before continuing to the next level. Contrary to which the contractor proceeded, and the following inspection reviewed that one of the walls to the face of the middle classroom was caving inward near the ring beam. And in short, the contractor acknowledged that he did not follow the instructions, and he pleaded that this is the first contractor, and he pleaded that he be given chance to remedy the situation, which he was given the chance. It was resolved that the defects from ring beam to be corrected, and not later than Wednesday, 7th February 2024, before submissions to revise the completion date were to be received. So, Tefund Enterprise has corrected the situation. The curved wall and the ring beam. Later, of course, he received termination. And why did the second contractor have a scope of work that includes demolition of the wall? Because the first contractor corrected the situation.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, after the meeting was convened and resolved as indicated in the minutes, the contractor still failed to make corrections. We further even allowed the chairperson of the local contractors to come in as fellow other contractors to help this contractor make amendments, but that too, Chair, did not work. That's what ended up leading to the termination, because even after we agreed as stated in the meeting, he still was not able to make corrections. I submit, Chair.
Follow up, Honorable Dr. Maza.
The costing, you paid 40% of the contract sum in the amount of 233,576 kwacha. Did this payment include that defective wall and the ring beam? Where is the evidence through the final IPC?
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
yes.
I would like to request the Director of Engineering to respond to that one.
Director Engineering.
Thank you very much, CS. To answer the question, the defects or the block work was not part of the payments that we did or made to the contractor. So we only managed to pay the contractor mobilization and up to the certified works on the slab. He had made, before even this meeting that we held, he had requested or made a claim for an IPC. But in that IPC, we did not honor the IPC because of these defects that needed to be corrected. We had to give him chance, and that chance, the contractor could not still take it up. So the moments leading to the termination, we had not even paid for the block work and the ring beam. Except, Chair, I do not have the physical IPC currently here with me. But that was what really happened.
Honorable Mtelo, follow up.
This Chair, thank you very much. This request done on 24th of April, the addendum, it's silent from you, Council Secretary. Have you agreed or not? Because yours was 25th. Yes, the request is made.
Chair, I would like to take this matter to my counterpart for the decision.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Chair. I think as management, we are agreeable to this request so that we can have the project functional.
Yes, where is the agreeableness?
The response that we are going to give to the contractor has not been attached, Chair. That will be done as soon as we reach the office, Chair.
But this
The
was
response has not been attached. Have you done the response,
Yes.
or you are yet to? Yes, yes.
Yes, Chair, like I've submitted from the letter that has been written, because we'll need to sit to this as a committee, and then we'll respond to it. So from what we have received, what we are trying to actually actualize is an aspect of the project to be functional. So the response will be handled as soon as we get to the office and sit as a committee.
Honorable Mchela.
like, I should think he's settled it out. At first he said the letter is there, but their tete is very good. They did it between them. The response is yet to be decided, and we'll have to have that at that particular time. But the works have to be finished. That's what you want. That's what we would want. You heard the question from here? Yes, we cannot continue the work which is within the CBD. There's no justification whatsoever to continue delaying this. And this, I should think, is part of Senanga Council facelift, if you may want it. Within, you buy from the hardware, you go and build. So where is the problem? Chair, where is the problem?
The honorable member was meant to ask you, CS, where the problem is, not the chair. Honorable Dr. Mwanza, follow up.
The engineer's explanation on the financials, because I'm not yet convinced on how the price to complete this classroom block on page 4 can have the council to look for 243,000 kwacha, when the engineer says that the first contractor, Tefund, was not paid for in terms of the superstructure, the block work, because it was involving defective wall which was caving. He was not paid. And this new contractor, EZC, he had to demolish that particular wall, because I can see the scope of work. He demolished that particular wall to make it good. So the cost of all this block work despite the contractor donating, because you didn't pay him, despite the contractor donating, then the price for the Easy C and C is 243,000 kwacha above the savings that you made on the first contractor. What items, what particular items? Because you talked about saying, since this was a 2022 funding, so there were price fluctuations and, so the cost escalated. Which particular items made the price to go to 580,000 kwacha, which is actually twice the price that the first contractor was signed for this particular contract? That particular part. And then on page 21 of your submission, you clearly said that the project at Namakuku is completed, and you referred us to Appendix 2, 3, and 13 for completion certificates. Would you wish to show us the completion certificate for Namakuku as per your statement on page 21? And why in the normal project contracts, 25th April is the completion date, and the contractor makes an extension of time request a day before? The letter here on your addendum is the contractor applied on 24th April 2025 to apply for extension of time, whilst the contract was ending the following day, 25th. Is that a standard?
Yes, you may respond.
Chair, I would request the Director of Engineering to take this one.
Director of Engineering.
Thank you very much. The first question was the costing, especially that the second contractor needed to start works from after demolishing. You requested for what particular things were involved in the demolishing, or yes, just there. So, Chair, the demolishing or the defects were mostly after the window level. What happens is most of the parts from the window level needed to be demolished. And if you start demolishing from the window level, it means you're also affecting the ring beam. The ring beam also needed to come off, meaning the contractor needed to still find steel and concrete stones to ensure that a new ring beam is put in place. That's how some of these costings were there. First of all, there is a demolishing of this part mostly from the window level, and to include now the items that had probably even, items that
do you have the BOQ for the new scope of works?
I do not have it here, but I can tell that Doc even has it where he is.
To what extent, in percentage terms, did you demolish this building that we're looking at on page 4?
Chair, I think to about 20 to 25%.
You demolish a building 20 to 25% and you won't pay for the 75% of works that were done properly?
The idea of not paying the other contractor was also partly to punish him on the wastage of time.
Dr. Manza, you may take it up.
You don't punish a contractor. You have to follow the contractual terms and the conditions. So if the building, you just demolish a certain part, whilst other sections are certified correctly done, he needs to be paid. So I think it's better you provide the final IPC to settle this matter. Provide the final IPC as well as the BOQ for the EZC and C, the contractor who is executing the works. You can just respond to a contractor applies 1 day before completion of time in the contract. Why? Is that a standard? And where are the controls for that in that case?
I request the Director of Engineering to take it.
Director of Engineering.
Thank you very much. This is arising from just engagements in that the contractor was supposed to at least have completed the works by that particular date. And in our engagements, the contractor now alluded certain issues that most of the materials that had been procured from Lusaka were stuck because of the chartered transport that the contractor had hired with those, that's how even in the letter such comings are coming out. Except it just originated from a follow-up to say your work was supposed to be completed by this time, and that's how the contractor requested that they could do an extension at that particular time.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza, we're okay? We move to other questions. Honorable members, Honorable Commander.
I just want to have some clarification on page 8.
Page 8?
Yes, page 8, payment of loan and grant to the same beneficiary. According to the query here, this beneficiary by the name of Calmac Enterprise had applied for a loan for a loan worth 169,928, but the one which was approved was 160. And the same Calmac Enterprise had applied for a grant, and then the grant was 40, which is which is the maximum. However, he was paid 30,000 kwacha. So now, this payment, this person benefited from both the grant as well as the loan in the same year. Now, this scenario, the way it was, and you may agree with me, which was highlighted also by the auditors, that because of this act, so many people had applied. For instance, out of 306 applicants who sought the grants, only 120 were successful. And while from the 70 loan applicants, only 42 received funding, meaning that there were still a lot of people that could have benefited from the same loans. However, because of this act, some of these people were disadvantaged and they never got actually this benefit. Now, I've been trying to go through this submission which has been given here, where at which point, because the council have got the mandate, even through the CDFC, when they receive actually these applications, it's the council which later on they take them to the CDFC. However, the CDFC would do, whether they didn't sit on the same day, according to the reasons that has been given, or the reasons that have been given, that they were not sitting to look at the grants and the loans on the same day. These are things that we have been doing, you and me, Chair, we've been doing this. I want to find out from them, from the council, have you ever had such a scenario like this one which happened, or this was the first kind, to an extent that one beneficiary benefits both from the grants and also the loans? Was it the first time, or it has ever happened in Senanga?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. I will ask Director Planning to take this one.
Director Planning.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I would say we have had similar situations before that were detected during the verifications. But I think this was like the first, and it eluded us. And arising from the lessons learned from this, I think we put mechanisms in place. We had quite a number of other repeat applicants which were screened from the systems and were informed as such, and they couldn't proceed. But this one, Chair, eluded us. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Commander, follow-up.
Thank you, Chair. I want to find out as well, at what time as a council did you realize that there was this problem? Is it at the time when the auditors came to audit you, or even before the auditors came, you had known about this problem?
Director Planning?
Chair, this again, I think it came to light after the audit. And I think, like I submitted, there wasn't...
You have answered the question,
Thank you, Chair.
Director Planning. Yes, Honorable Command.
You have alluded to the fact that now you have put in measures that are going to deter such an occurrence to reoccur. Now, what comfort are you going to give to this committee that would not have, because this is a very rare. We have been sitting here for some time with different councils. At no point did I realize any council being found with a case like this, with a query like this. It's only SENANGA. So we are worried as a committee. One, we may even ask a question, what was so special about this person? That to an extent that even when, before the auditors came, you couldn't actually realize that this was a mistake. What really happened to this special person? And secondly, the last one maybe, did you make any efforts to retrieve some of this money? Because it's not in order. Did you make any effort either to get back the grant and give it to another person, other than giving this person the benefit of a grant as well as the loan?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, do you want to take up that, or we are delegating?
Getting to the Director Planning.
Director Planning?
Yes, Chair. Chair, we've made efforts actually to engage the person in question, but somehow there were challenges that we encountered a little bit, which we can still get guidance from the committee.
Carmack Enterprise, is it an individual or? Sorry
on the application, Chair, on the loan is fine. On the grant, Chair, there are other 10 members sitting there.
You're too fast. Carmack Enterprise, is it an individual or it's a limited company?
Chair, is an enterprise.
An enterprise?
Yes.
Enterprise meaning it's owned by one person?
Chair, I would do submit like that. The complication, Chair, is...
Yeah, I've noted the complications.
Okay.
Just you hold on.
All right.
Yeah, don't give us answers which we have not asked for.
Thank you.
Honorable, come on.
I reiterate that I said the last one.
Please go
But
ahead.
from the answer that has been given, actually, it has excited me. If this is an individual or a person, how is his loan repayment? Is he also one of those defaulters, or the repayment is actually up to date?
Yes.
Chair, the Director Planning will take it up
Director
with the
Planning.
assistance of Director Finance.
Chair, the repayment on the loan side by the applicant is also not good.
Director Finance, you want to add?
Thank you, Chair. I think that
Director Planning, you can switch off your mic.
that is enough from the Director Planning. That's the exact what I
Let's
wanted
go to page 11. You paid 86,000 kwacha for youth, women and community empowerment grants using 3 checks. The narration on the bank statement indicated check withdrawals for 3 beneficiary clubs. We have noted the letter that you wrote to the bank and the response therein. Can you confirm that this money was withdrawn and given to the clubs in cash?
Chair, I would want the Director of Finance to take that one up.
Director of
Yes.
Finance?
Thank you, Chair. It is true, Chair, the narration on the bank statement reads as a check withdrawn. This is, Chair, the payment of the same check, Chair, was made in the name of the group chair, through the name of the same group chair. I submit, Chair.
Was cash withdrawn, Director Finance?
Chair, I couldn't confirm nor deny that, Chair, because that was between...
Director Finance, don't make our work. Is he the in charge of
Chair,
the department?
Yes, the money, Chair, was withdrawn from the account, Chair.
By whom?
By the group chair, in the name of the group chair.
No. Let us move slowly. The groups have a mandate to withdraw the money when it's paid to them. Did the council pay this 86,000 into their account?
Exactly, Chair, it was paid into the account.
Do you have proof to this effect?
Yes, Chair, there's proof because the payment, Chair, including the bank, the payment voucher, Chair, and the check itself, Chair, was written in the name of the group, not in an individual.
Yes, we know that the checks were written, but the narration. Do you have proof to the effect of the bank statement entering, where the money hits the account, and then we have the bank statement?
Yes, Chair, we have, Chair.
On appendix what? Yes, Director of Finance, guide us so that we can all be comforted.
Chair, maybe I would call the accountant to help me with the exact where the appendix is, or
accountant,
where the document is.
It's not part of the report in consideration, or with the addendums that you adduced?
No, Chair, it is not part, but we have it with us, and it can be given to the committee chair.
We wait for the accountant. But as we conclude, the committee notes the corporate governance gaps and financial challenges in SENANGA. Accountant, we are waiting for the bank statement. The number one thing to do on CAUMAC for the grant, an enterprise company registered under PACRA for an individual does not qualify to get a grant. That was an oversight on the part. CS, you can take back your seat. Apologies, Dr. Manza. I'm trying to manage time. We have two more witnesses up here. Honorable Mtelo, you can ask a bonus.
The number, just the first one. Have we installed the radio equipment? If we have, is it on air? The date is today. Thank you, Chair.
CS, kindly respond.
Thank you, Chair. We'll ask Director Engineering to handle this one.
Director Engineering.
Thank you very much. No, the answer is no, we've not yet installed. The installer had requested for space at Zamtel Tower, which payment is still about to be processed, Chair.
What is the delay in processing the payment?
It was just because of the the holidays that we had.
When was the payment requested?
It was requested on, I think that is 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You have the documentation to show the committee?
No, I do not have. I only have a letter that was requested by the installer to have this issue handled before the installation.
That letter is dated when?
This letter, Chair, is dated 30th April.
Which year?
2025. It was just recent, Chair.
A short one, Honorable Dr. Mwanza and Honorable Mtela. You can.
The evidence that the engineer is talking about is not presented here.
No.
What is here, the stumbling block is the radio station house. Council procured the radio equipment at 722,890 kwacha in 2023. And then the supplier is given the contract to even install. Took it to the client. The client has no space, nowhere to put this equipment. And this project was requested by the committee for community radio station. Up to date, as he has confirmed, the equipment is still lying. First question is, from planning point of view, how do you plan an equipment without securing housing? Two, the committee for community radio station, which WDC does this committee belong to in SENANGA constituency? Because the guidelines for CDF is that a project is identified by WDC and they will meet and approve at ward level, taken to CDFC. So which WDC in Senanga constituency does the committee for community radio station belong to? And the funding, it is mentioned somewhere for the housing that it was approved under 2023 disaster component. The procedures for disaster component, were they followed or not? There's no proof of how the procedures was executed, and even now it is there's another amount of 600 and something, 700 and something. What is really the challenge? You procure equipment, and how do you deal with the contract for that supply, delivery, and install? You signed the contract in March 2023. The contractor, the supplier, supplied. He is supposed to install to complete the scope of work under his contract. Now the client says, "I have no place where you can install." How do you deal with that supplier in terms of the terms of contract? Thank you.
Yes.
Allow me to call the outgoing CS just to give a brief, and then Director of Engineering will come in.
Yes, CS Kanyemba.
Thank you, Chair. Well, the brief background is that the procurement of the equipment was an independent project on its own, where we're supposed to buy. And then when it comes to installation, the committee, the recipient, found that they are not able to have that equipment installed because their housing was not in shape. Chair, this was, this was an anomaly on our part as an implementing agent. We should have done a better job during assessment. That one we take blame. Going forward, we engaged both the radio committee, the area MP, and the CDFC to say, this radio station is for the benefit of the district. If we allow it to be managed as an independent, we'll be going back and forth. So now, using the Imatanda WDC, we applied now to have the renovations for the house done, which was not part of the initial funding. So now we had the second project which the doctor alluded to, which was now the renovations to make this housing unit suitable for the radio station, which was now in the next funding period, which was 2024. So that 2023, so that we can have now the installation completed. So this is where we are now. Where now the contractor is yet to install because of that remaining payment. The second part of the question was, how do we deal now with the supply, delivery, and installation? We had engagements with the supplier. When he came on the ground and said, I cannot proceed to install because the client is not ready, hold on, let us do our own homework. When we are ready, we'll call you. Of course, we may expect the terms to be varied because they are no longer the same because of due to time. But ultimately, Chair, we want to execute this project complete and have the radio on the airwaves. Ultimately, we remain committed to implement the project, Chair. I submit.
You still want the Director of Engineering to add?
I think it's sufficient, Chair.
Accountant. Accountant, have we found the documentation? You came in with a lot of bugs, and I could see that those documents you were carrying would confuse you. Our advice as a committee is quickly implement the radio station for the enjoyment of the people of Senanga. You have the money, and it's unacceptable that you delay the processing of payment for the rentals of the tower so that the people could start, enjoying the dissemination of information. This will help you to engage the community, even on the loans component, the community projects, the sensitization of boarding and skills bursaries. We want to recommend that you start implementing the delayed projects on time. Contractor oversight, terminates non-performing contractors and enforce strict procurement controls. We will not run away from Namukuk. We are going to furnish the committee by Tuesday of the final. No, can you come up with the final IPC with the contractor? You have treated the contractor somehow unfairly. The contractor did the job. We can say up to roof level, and the defects were only 25%. So you need to evaluate the works that were done so that you pay this particular contractor. Remember why we are saying give first priority to local contractors is to empower them. We want our local people to become better contractors. Yes, as they are learning, they may not have, the technical expertise, but this is where you come in. Sometimes when you see someone is making mistakes, director engineering, perhaps you be the most learned engineer in that district. Help them, be there and guide them so that you can transfer the technological expertise into the locals so that next time they do a better job. So we expect that you sit down with this particular contractor. If there are any that you treated like this, sit down with them, do a final closure of the IPC so that you pay for the works that they did. We want disposable income to circulate within Senanga. Obviously, there are people who were working on this site, the bricklayers, the Dhaka boys, and others who would love that even the people that they owe and those they got materials from are paid on time, because it's a chain. So financial accountability, strengthen loan recovery mechanism, and ensure proper documentation for all transactions. Automated systems, implement a database to prevent double allocations and improve record keeping. Yes, I hope this will be done, because you have noted when the external auditors came, they were able to pick that you sponsored overaged applicants for skills bursaries. But if your systems were automated, the systems themselves were able to highlight and tell you these are overaged. Community sensitization, increase awareness to improve uptake of bursaries and empowerment programs. I think I will not belabor on this one. I said when we go back, let us implement the radio station, process the payment, and direct, within one building. The processing of payments, we want to take 1 week. Why? Why? This can take 2 hours. You have the accountant, the clerk there, the CS is in the office, make a payment. Send the office order it to go and pay. And then the next day you have your radio station going. Office of the Auditor General, the committee is not satisfied with the response on the query for the narration of the cash withdrawal to the tune of 86,000 kwacha. We direct that you go back and ascertain if indeed cash was withdrawn, and if our officers withdrew cash against the guidelines of CDF, we expect that CS, you take punitive measures against the officers that did that, so that we put a stop to such behavior. Having said that, I want to uncap you witness of the immunity that was given to you at the start of the meeting. We wish to end here, and after immunity is uncapped, it means that now anything that you say, you are on your own. It can be used against you, even in your district. You have no protection whatsoever. Otherwise, we wish you traveling messages back to your district. Go and continue uplifting the standards of our people in Senanga. Thank you so much.
It's a lovely afternoon. There you have it. Senanga Town Council has submitted its report to the Committee on Local Government Accounts, as the committee is considering the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. And Senanga Town Council was flanked by the current and the previous council secretaries, that's Mr. Gift Mwetwa and Mr. Joseph Kayemba, respectively. And so we're standing by for Sisheke, Town Council. That's the witness that's appearing next before the Committee on Local Government Accounts, and it's going to be followed by our last witness for the day, that's Shangombo Town Council. I'm Claudette Sindaza Jonga, together with our two sign language interpreters, that's Jason Manda and Chola Kaumandu, will be with you until committee sitting comes to an end. Just now we're standing by for Sisheke Town Council. Good afternoon.